Tai Tzu Ying is the queen of the Taipei Open. It is a fantastic victory for the Malaysians. Their perfect record at this tournament continues. The Koreans with the win. Oh, what a way to win it. Chico Ara Dwi Wardoyo with a superb win here.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Badminton Weekly. I'm Jasmine Lim, your host, and today we'll be looking back at some of the exciting action from the final stop of this Asian leg, the Yonex Taipei Open. Now, we're also going to be highlighting the standout performance from the past month, so stay tuned for that. Joining us today for the very first time to share his insights and analysis is Denmark's Hans-Kristian Vittinghus. Thank you so much, Hans, for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Jasmine, for having me. I'm excited for it.
Let's start with the Taipei Open, where Tai Tzu Ying cemented herself as queen of the tournament. With her 5th title, she now stands alone as the only player across all disciplines to achieve such a remarkable feat. And she's had a really great week, hasn't she? Not dropping a single game throughout the tournament.
Yeah, she just proved once again that she is such an amazing player and, of course, fully deserved all the way through in complete control. And she showed that she was a level above the rest of the competitors in the women's singles in Chinese Taipei Open this year. I would just say her control in general, it's amazing. It has always been like that, but in this week I think we saw it stand out even more because again of the level difference between her and the rest. So she just looked like a player who, no matter what she did, she was in full control. Even in the final, when she was 4-love down against Bei Wen, I didn't feel like she was doubting herself or panicking in any way. She kind of knew that she would have control the further they got into the match, and she showed that quickly. So her control was just outstanding all the way through. And to do it 5 times, you also need to be like at the top of your game for a long period of time, because you're obviously not gonna win every single year, and it's so rare. You can just see she is the first women's singles player to do it in this era of badminton. So yeah, it's just an outstanding feat, and I don't think anyone is gonna replicate it anytime soon. That's for sure.
Like you said, it was rather evident that Tai Tzu Ying was on a level above her opponents at the Taipei Open. But looking back at how she's performed from the start of the year, do you think that she still has the competitive edge to go against other top-tier women's singles players like Akane Yamaguchi and An Se-young?
I still think she can be competitive with them. I think she also beaten them both this year, actually. I know that she's been losing more than winning, but for me right now in the women's singles, I have An Se-young and Yamaguchi as like tier 1, and then we have Chen Yufei and Tai Tzu Ying in the next tier, and those 4 players, I still see them as above the rest, and it's going to be between those 4, and I'm pretty certain that a title like this one, it would just boost the confidence for Tai Tzu Ying, and I hope to see her battle for the big titles for the rest of the year and all the way to Paris next year.
好难哦，没有什么意义耶。但是我很高兴可以看到大家来看球，就是失误有稍微比较少一点，但是中间还是有一度比较多的乱流跟连续的失误。我觉得这是我在比赛上面需要去做加强的地方。
Now on the flip side, in the men's singles category, local favorite Cho Tian-chen, who was gunning for his 3rd straight title here, was surprisingly shown the door early in round 2 when he failed to get past his younger compatriot Lin Chun-yi. Cho, of course, he had played all the tournaments in the Asian leg, so would fatigue be a factor here?
I would think so. Not necessarily in terms of physical fatigue, but I think especially mental fatigue. Being on the road for so long and having to do all the things you do to try and perform at your best all the time, be in the right mindset, the right zone all the time, I think that is like mentally really draining. And when you then add the pressure on Cho Tian-chen in his home tournament, where he is the big favorite, the guy that everyone was expecting to win, and he plays a compatriot who's on the rise, I think it was a very difficult match for him against Lin Chun-yi. And when you look at all the factors, I actually don't see it as such a big surprise that he lost that one.
21-year-old Su Li-young did make sure that there was a local player involved in the men's singles finals, but unfortunately, he fell short against Indonesia's Chico Ora Dwi Wardoyo. The match did end in 2 straight games, but it was still a pretty intense one, with Su putting on a decent display all the way till the very end. But what do you think gave Chico that edge to take it home here?
I think Chico has that little bit more experience, but also a bit better control of the conditions, actually. I felt like it was very important for Tzu Ying to win the first game where he was playing on the better side of the court, when he was playing against the drift. As soon as he got on the side where he was playing with the drift, it was very difficult for him to play the full court, and I think Chico, he controlled those conditions a little bit better, and I think that comes from his experience, because I think both of them, they have quite a similar game style, actually, being very aggressive, a lot of smashing, a lot of attacking, but Chico, he is applying so much pressure on his opponent. He's attacking all the time and with so much power. So even though you know that he's gonna smash a lot on you, you're still under a lot of pressure just getting it back with the right quality. Also because you know he's actually very fast moving forward, following up after his smash. So it is the biggest quality in his game is for sure the attacking power that he possesses.
Ya tadi di pas poin-poin pertama, pas di set pertama poin-poin jus, saya coba buat lebih tenang dan coba buat lebih percaya diri di akhir-akhir pertandingan. Pastinya ya buat saya lebih percaya diri di event-event berikutnya.
Now, the men's doubles category saw Malaysia's Man Wei Chong and T Kai Woon successfully defend their title. They outplayed local pair Lu Qingyao and Yang Po Han in the final, and prior to that, came from behind to stun compatriots On Yu Sin and Teo Yi in the semis. What impressed you the most about the Malaysian duo here?
I'd actually say their ability to stay in the matches against the compatriots in the semi-final. They were behind all the way, lost the first game, behind all the way in the second, but they stayed in the game. It was clear to see like the hunger to win, and I think the same showed again in the final. Even though they lost the first game, they actually came back, stay in the match all the time. So like the fighting spirit, their hunger to win, I just think this week they were second to none compared to the other players. Like they're moving so fast, both of them. They're covering the court really well. I feel like if you compare them to some of the other Malaysian pairs, they're a bit more aggressive, and I think again it comes from the movement. They don't want to be so much in defense as some of the other Malaysian pairs, the top pairs, Ong and Teo and Aaron and Wolf. So I think that's where they differ a little bit from the other Malaysians, and I think that is the strong side of the game, that they are really fast. They are both very quick around the court.
On the topic of the Malaysian pairs, would you say that this is a pretty healthy battle in the team, especially in terms of pushing each other in the race to qualify for the Paris Olympics?
Yeah, I think it will still be difficult for them to qualify because they will have to make top 8, which is a tall task for them, because you have Aaron and so in the top 8. So you need to get there to get 2 pairs there. But of course, it's a healthy competition situation also for Ong and Teo to push them even further. But we still need to see them perform at an even higher level. I know they made the final of Malaysia Masters, but we need to see it consistently for them to be able to make top 8. But this is definitely one step in the right direction for them. So it's going to be exciting to see in the next few events if they can follow up on this kind of performance. We haven't seen that from them before, to be consistent at this level.
Now, with the Taipei Open wrapping up 5 straight weeks of back-to-back tournaments on the HSBC BWF World Tour, we have seen a couple of outstanding performances from a handful of players. Hans, we have asked you before the show who your standout performers are, and you've picked a couple from Korea. An Se-young, no surprise, is one of them, as she's added 2 titles from the Asian leg. The question now for the 21-year-old is, what must she do to make sure she can continue this fantastic run? Because we did see her falling short in the Indonesia Open, with her citing fatigue as the main reason for her exit.
I think that is the key for her, that she doesn't burn out, like too much energy spent. Too much energy playing too many tournaments. Like, she is already very certain of qualifying for the Olympics. I actually expect her to be the top seed when we come to Paris. So she needs to be very, very with her selection of tournaments, and hopefully there will be some coaches that are able to guide her well. She's a very young player, so she's obviously still very hungry to win all the titles, but I hope that she will be very focused on the big goals ahead, which I'm certain is the Paris Olympics. So she needs to be picking and choosing wisely what she's gonna attend, also because she is making it far in every single tournament. So she will use a lot of energy, also mental energy, on performing all through the week when she plays a tournament.
Speaking of mental energy, the #1 spot is also not too far away for An Se-young, and that must be playing at the back of her mind.
I think it is for sure. She's still only 21, and I think everyone is dreaming about being the world #1 for sure. Again, I don't hope that it steals her focus away from what is really important, which is winning the titles. I'm pretty sure that everyone, when they retire sometime down the road, they will remember the titles and not necessarily so much the ranking. So it is the titles she should focus on, what is necessary to win, for example, the Olympics and all these Super 1000 events, the World Championships in the future as well. But for sure, she's still also thinking about that world #1 spot, and she's very close to Yamaguchi right now. So I think it's only a matter of time, and I think she will believe that as well, that it doesn't have to happen next month or in 2 months. It will happen at some point. It's hard to see it not going that way in the future for her.
Now, An's compatriots Baek Hana and Lee So-hee are also having a standout year. They won their first ever Super 1000 title at the Indonesia Open, as well as their maiden Super 500 title at the Malaysia Masters. What is it that makes this partnership work so well?
I think they really complement each other so well. I think Lee So-hee, of course, we've known her for many years to be a world-class women's doubles player. And she's so consistent. She's hard-hitting, powerful from the back, and she can keep on attacking and using lots of variations. And I think Baek, also from her mixed doubles, has shown many times already that on the front of the court, and her creativity, her anticipation of the game is just amazing. So that way, I think they really complement each other so well, because Lee So-hee, she's so consistent that she gives the freedom to Baek to actually use her creativity and read her game, read and anticipate the game that she wants to, because she knows she has the security in Lee So-hee behind her to cover up if she's like misreading anything or takes a chance that's not going the right way.
They lost against world #1s Chen Qingchen and Jia Yifan in the finals of the Singapore Open, but managed to turn it around in the quarterfinals of the Indonesia Open. What do you think they learned and improved on from that match? And could this be a warning for the Chinese pair to be more wary of Baek and Lee?
I think it was small details that made a difference. There's a very good example, like in the first game in the quarterfinal on the game point. 2018, they set up the situation in the serve where they have exactly the same situation in the final in Singapore a few weeks before, where they know if I return there, Chen will make the same third shot, and they set it up perfectly to punish her on that one. And it's very small details where they just apply it at the right time that made a difference. And I would still like to see them beat the Chinese a few more times before I would say they are at the same level. But especially Baek Hana, she's a player who's still developing. Lee So-hee for me is more like a finished product. She has a very high world-class level, but we don't see her really making strides to a new level. So it all depends. If Baek can keep developing, then the partnership will also keep developing. And if they do that, I think it would be very wise for Jia and Chen to look over their shoulder for this Korean pair.
Unfortunately, that is all the time we have for this week's episode. Thank you so much, Hans, for taking the time to join us today.
It was my pleasure.
Hopefully, we'll see more of Hans in the future, but for now, it's time to say goodbye. You can continue to stay up to date with the latest in the badminton world through the BWF app, Badminton for You. And as always, don't forget to leave your comments, thoughts, and questions on our Facebook and YouTube pages. I'll see you next week. Till then, take care.